I am. You are. He is.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Aztecs Talks. My name is Patrick, and today we're going to be looking at the present simple. Okay, so it's very aptly named in that we think it's very simple, and in essence it is. But let's take a look at when we use it, when we don't use it, and the most common mistakes that we tend to see when using the present tense, when we shouldn't, or not conjugating it correctly. So strap in and let's see what we might learn from the present simple tense in English. Let's go.
My day starts at 5 a.m. I like to wake up nice and early to get ahead of the competition.
So, what is the present simple tense in English? Well, we use it to talk about facts that are always true. We use it for habits and we use it for routines. It's your go-to tense if you don't want to overcomplicate your life, okay? So for example, a fact is that the sun rises in the east. A routine would be I drink coffee every morning.
Welcome to Cafe Organica. How may I help you?
Yeah, can I just get some coffee, please?
What kind, sir? Latte? Cappuccino? Macchiato? Espresso?
Just a coffee, like a normal coffee.
And a general truth would be that Spanish people love ham. Something like that, okay?
Time for a taste.
And the magic formula for using the present simple tense in English is subject, verb, and then whatever you add to the rest of the structure. So for example, I love teaching English, or they play football.
That's what Brett's saying. That's not reviewable. Oh, doctor. First pass.
Or we live in Madrid. So if you notice something there, that the verb does not change, and in many parts of the verb it doesn't change, but in one aspect it does. The third person. Let's take a look.
I hate verbs in English. I dance, you dance, he dances. Why? Is he dancing more than me? I don't think so.
So the third person, if you're not clear on it, is the he, she, it part of the verb, okay? And this is where the present simple turns into an English teacher's nightmare, and also English learners' nightmares as well, in the little mistakes that can be made. So when we are using the third person singular part of the verb, we must add an s or an es in some cases to the end of it, and that is the case for regular verbs, okay? So for example, he eats pizza, or she watches Netflix, or it rains a lot in Ireland.
But really, this is all about the rain.
So adding s or es is incredibly important, but there is another element to this, and that is verbs that end in y, okay? So when a verb ends in y, the third person singular removes the y and adds ies. For example, the verb to study, so he studies, ies, every day. He studies every day. Or the verb to fly, she flies to Barcelona every week. Flies, F-L-I-E-S. So there's another element to the third person, and it's a mistake that we see very often in the English learning world. And when do we not use the present simple tense? So the present simple is great for many things, but we don't use it for things that, generally speaking, are happening right now, okay? So for example, I record a podcast now. No, I am recording a podcast now, okay? So we use the present continuous because it is happening in the moment. Or we also don't really use the present tense for future plans. We can use the future tense for future plans, or the present continuous again. So for example, I go to London next week. Doesn't sound great. We would normally say I am going to London next week. Sounds much better.
Tomorrow.
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 It's tomorrow.
No, it's tomorrow.
So, what are some common mistakes with the present simple tense? We've already spoken a little bit about it, about the third person singular. So yes, let me point out or let you know about some common mistakes. So, for example, he have a car. He have a car. We want to say he has a car. He has a car. She do her homework. She does her homework. Okay, she does her homework. And another really common one, which is a more direct translation rather than a misconjugation, which is I am agree. I am agree. We want to say I agree. So let's play a quick game before we finish. Okay, so I'm going to give you 3 sentences in English, and I want you to correct them. Okay, so if you like, you can leave your suggestions in the comments, and we can correct them for you, or you can look them up yourself. Okay, so here's the first one. She go to school every day. She go to school every day. Number 2. They plays football on Saturdays. They plays football on Saturdays. And number 3, he don't like pizza. He don't like pizza. So, take a note of your answers. Maybe let us know in the comments if you like, or look them up in your own time. Okay? But yeah, let us know the answers or the corrections to those 3 sentences. So, before we finish, just a couple of quick tips. Okay? So, we've already spoken about the third person singular. Okay, so we add an S, and it's also an important thing to note that if we want to use the third person singular, but we don't know who we are talking about. So for example, if I'm talking about my boss, you don't know if my boss is a man or a woman. Okay, so we do not use he, and we do not use she, and we do not use it. Okay, so instead of using the third person singular, we use they. We go to the third person plural part of the verb, even though we are only indicating one person. So if you are talking about my boss, you can use they. So are they a nice person? Are they strict? Even though we're talking about one person. So that's another common little mistake, that we immediately go to he or she if we don't know who the person is. So next time you're talking about someone you don't know, use the they form of the verb. And that's it. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode about the present simple tense and a couple of little tips and hints along the way. I hope it's been useful for you. With those answers to the little quiz, just feel free to put them in the comments in the channel of whatever channel you're using to listen to these podcasts. Okay. And yeah, we'd be delighted to hear from you, and anything that you would like to listen to in future episodes. Again, we'd be delighted to hear about topics that are of interest to you, to your job, or to learning English in general. Okay, so my name is Patrick. Thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next time. All the best.